Moments of Light. Kind of a little bit of a whimsical title, but I want to delve into some of the ways that we can take our rehearsal time, break it up, make it light, keep it fun, keep it fresh. And at the same time, while we're keeping it fun, while we're keeping it fresh, recognize those great glimpses of light, those moments when, in our roundtable discussion today, the questions I asked is, when have you seen God recently in your ministry? Keep your eyes open for that. Don't forget why we're there, not just to teach notes and rhythms. And it's easier said than done sometimes because we're not typically getting evaluated on our theology on Sunday morning, but they're going to tell whether the kids are singing in tune or not, so we can kind of focus on those things. But the why behind it is really important. So we'll pause every once in a while for examples of where we really see glimpses of light. And I have a philosophy that if they love it, they'll learn it. Say that.
If they love it, they'll learn it.
Yeah, that's always. Now the reverse is not always true. I know plenty of school districts who they know that they're so Kodai centered and they can sight read the notes on the page and those kids just burn out. And when I was an elementary music teacher, I didn't care if I was teaching the next Beethoven. There's already one of those already. We didn't need another one. I just wanted them to love it. Our symphony halls are half empty. We got opera programs closing all the time. There's plenty of talented singers in the world. There's plenty of talented instrumentalists. But we're not raising enough people to love it. And that's my mission both as a music teacher and as a children's minister. I want them to fall in love with God the way that God loves them. So if they love it, they'll learn it. I got a rare gift. I used to teach in inner city Dallas, and I was going back after several years of being away. And I had a stack of some books, some of my stuff, and I always like to share with my school, the school that really, the baptism by fire here. And so I saw a couple of old teachers that I knew, and one of them said, "Oh, hey, Mr. Burrows, how are you?" I said, "Good." She goes, "Have you heard about Stephanie?" And I'm like, I'm going to leave the last name out. But I said, "No." And she said, "She's on a full ride to New England Conservatory. She's singing opera." And I said, "What?" "Oh," I said, "that makes me so happy." She kept singing. And the teacher said, "Oh, Mr. Burrows, because of you, they all kept singing." That was a gift. And that's what I want. That's my dream. I don't care if they're ever on an opera stage. I just want them to keep doing it. So that when they're in the church somewhere and if we're looking at the congregation and half the people are standing like this, not them, because they love it. Because they love it. So let's start with a couple of things. This is that very coveted 2:30 in the afternoon slot. So we keep things moving. And one of the things that I do to keep things moving, to keep things fresh, is an exercise called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it first, and then we'll break it down. So stand up, please. As we're able, we're going to shake this hand 5 times. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this hand 5 times. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Kind of nice and loud with me because I cannot. Ready? Go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Good, right? There are a number of uses for that. One of the ways that we can use that is with youth. I directed our youth choir for a number of years, and they come in on Sunday morning, which is inconveniently right after Saturday night. And sometimes they got the biggest case of the whatevers you ever want to see. And so sometimes that just wakes them up. In the middle of a rehearsal, when there's been a dull moment or a piece that you picked that you just knew they were going to love and they just don't. That's a really good time to bring that out. Here's another one. How many of you have a situation where in the safe, wonderful rehearsal space, the kids just sing like gangbusters? It sounds fantastic. And then you get them in that giant sanctuary and they just clam up. And maybe you've got an opportunity to have a real quick run through the piece before they sing it, that little rehearsal on Sunday morning before everybody gets there. Do that exercise because it helps them own the space. It gets them bigger than their bodies. And because otherwise they want to go like this. That's a really good way, and that helps them a lot. Sometimes I'll take groups of performance in really big spaces, and that helps. A couple of these are some old standards. You probably know this one. So sometimes we go to a conference to learn, to be reinforced what we already know. But for some of you, this may be brand new. How many of you know the song "My Bond Lies Over the Ocean"? All right? So, ready? And sing.
My body lies over the ocean. My body lies over the sea. My body lies over the ocean. So bring back my body to me. Bring back, oh bring back my body to me, to me. Bring back, oh bring back my body to me.
And what letter begins most of those words?
B.
Every time we sing a B, we stand up. The next time we sing a B, we sit down. Let's take it nice and adagio. Ready? And go.
My body lies over the ocean. My body lies over the sea. My body lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my body to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my body to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my body to me.
Right, and then we do it again, and we do it allegro, and we do it again presto. So it's a good brain break. It's fun. It gets the blood flowing, and you can teach some of Italian musical terms. Andante, allegro, prestissimo. You can also mix it up. You can cut it in half and have one half stand while the other half sitting, and vice versa. You can have everyone wearing blue stand up, and everybody else sit down and mix it up. Here's another one. Everybody touch your toe and say toe. Knee. Chest. Nut. Nose. Eye. Love. Ears. Like this. Stand up, please. There's your Tony Chestnut knows I love you. Tony knows. Tony knows. Tony Chestnut knows I love you. That's what Tony knows. Tony Chestnut knows I love you. Tony knows. Tony knows. Tony Chestnut knows I love you. That's what Tony knows. Mezzo forte. Tony Chestnut knows I love you. Tony knows. Tony knows. Tony Chestnut knows I love you. That's what Tony knows. Good. So it's a brain break, but you can always mix something into it that teaches a musical concept that also adds to the game, right? If we say, let's memorize our Italian musical terms, let's drill our rhythms, make it a game. The two most magical phrases in childhood are once upon a time and let's play a game. Right? You want to play a game? Oh yeah. Or once upon a time, yeah. Everybody's kind of leans in. People love story. We all have a story. We're fascinated with story. So this was something I just found on accident. One day I was, we have a ministry safe as our safe sanctuary policy, and it's very, very strict, and it's good. We like that it's strict. And so I was the only adult there so far. So when there's only one adult and the kids start coming, my job is to stand 1 foot on one side and 1 foot right at the door jam. I welcome it in, the kids come in, and then whenever someone says, I need a second, I need someone else. So if I can see me at all times, I've got an eye on the kids. Well, while I was stuck in the door jam, one of the kids decided that she wanted to be the conductor. And so she stood up and she started directing. And the kids were laughing, having a good time, and someone else wanted to get up and pretend to direct. And I said, okay, let's just see where this goes. So I just sat in her chair. I said, okay, lead us through a warm-up. And she led us through some warm-ups. In fact, she had a couple that when she in her school part that I didn't know that were pretty good. Mommy made me eat my M&Ms, or Mommy made my mash my M&Ms. But you all know, I did not know that one. And I learned it, and it was so great because it was an opportunity for the first to learn something. And the kids paid so much attention. After a while, they kind of tune us out. You know, they've seen the same gestures, they've heard the same voice, they've heard the same phrases, they've played the same games. So I had a whole room full of guest clinicians that I'd forgotten about. And so the guest clinician just got up there and she started leading it. And I said, okay, who else would like to lead? Oh, all the hands come up. So we took turns. We spent the entire rehearsal. It was fun. I didn't care. So what? So I had spent the whole rehearsal letting the kids conduct. And so we got to where it was time to do pieces. And she was like, I don't know how to do this. I'm like, yeah, you do. Just make sure we all come in together, make sure we all cut off together. And there was no discernible pattern. But it was that she was communicating, and the kids were learning how to watch better, and it was just wonderful. So do that. You don't have to spend an entire rehearsal. Maybe it's just part of your warm-up time. Maybe you just devote 5 minutes a day, and someone gets to be the conductor for that day, and oh my goodness, they love it. And it gives them buy-in. They get to be leaders. They love that. So a few things to help break up the reps, because you got to get the repetitions in. There's just no way around it. You've got to get in the reps without it feeling repetitious. And this is another good thing for saving your voice when you're in the middle of a rehearsal, or you're just gassed, or it's workshop number 6, and here's what you do. And this is also a really good way to help the kids with memorization, because they're going to get the tune like that, right? But if it's an anthem where it's got 3 verses and then the same chorus, and they don't know, and they know verse 1 cold, but verse 3 is just a disaster. So you have everybody turn to verse 3. And we're going to take a song we all know. So let's say it's Jesus Loves Me, all right? And imagine you've got your sheet music or your lyric sheet there with Jesus Loves Me. Track along very carefully, and I'm going to play, and then I'm going to stop. And you tell me what word I stop on. Here we go. Let's try again. That's right. And you go through the whole song like that. You go through the whole verse wherever. And you don't do it with Jesus Loves Me, because that's one that everybody knows. But do something that they don't know. That you're at that point in the rehearsal where if you keep drilling the words, they're going to throw things at you. Or worse, they're just not going to come next week. Which is that people vote with their feet, don't they? Or you make it a game. And then after you play that game and you start the beginning every time, and you go a little further, and then next time you go a little further, and next time you go a little further, and what are they doing? They're thinking the words the whole way through. Then they get to the last word, and you finally make it all the way to the end, and they say it, and they say, okay, sing it for me. And they sing it, and it's perfect. And it's fun. And they don't even realize they're doing it because they're having fun. Another one, and I don't have a dry erase, but I think I've got a chalkboard. I went to work with kids in Kenya about 10 years ago. Is that going to open? Open! And the trick is there any chalk? Dun, 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 dun. Well, we can still make it work. Yeah, all right. I don't see any chalk. All right.
In those cabinets.
Ooh, maybe we can go look at it. They're going to be locked. Oh, they popped up right in here. Yeah, of course. All that expensive chalk. Wait. Up. Down. Okay. What's that? No. Oh. We got it. Okay. Sure, they leave the eraser out. I wonder what brilliant algebraic form I'm erasing right now. All right, so what you do, let's go back to our old friend. Okay. So you have all the words posted up there. You can do it on flip chart too, okay? But this is a fun way to do it with the kids interactive. So we sing through the whole thing. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Right? And then you pick a kid, you say, come here, I want you to go erase one word. And so then they go and erase the word. And then you sing it again. And then you pick another kid and I say, I want you to go erase. And you whisper it, you stage whisper it. I want you to go erase. And the kids are like, you said there's 3 words. And we do it again, and then you get another kid, I want you to erase 5. You're like, no, and they're punching each other. There's no way we can do this. And we do it, and they do it, and they erase all the words. Oh! And they love getting to be the one to erase it. They love getting to be the one to decide it. And little by little, so it's kind of the reverse of that, where you're taking the words away little by little. And they loved it. It's just so much fun, and it's a simple way to get those lyrics in their heads with that game. And the last one, those of you who come to my early childhood session, which is on Friday maybe? I can't remember when that is. So this is Charlie the church mouse. Everybody loves Charlie. Charlie's their favorite. My little biddies come up to me in the morning, on Sunday morning, for about 10 minutes for music with Mr. Mark, and they love Charlie. They don't care about me. They want to see, where's Charlie? Tell Charlie I said hi. And Charlie's will come out, some of them literally cry. I had to tell Charlie something. Of course, then Charlie gets up there, and they have to think of something to say because they didn't have anything to say. And okay, so what I'm going to do, and he's got a Jersey accent because I'm married to a Jersey girl. So I'm gonna sing a song, but I'm gonna get one of the words wrong, and you have to tell me which word it is. Okay? Can we try that? Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Jesus smells me this. No, what is it? It's Jesus loves me. Oh, let me try that. The kids just dying laughing. Jesus loves me. This I know, for the phone book tells me so. But the phone book, Charlie, what is this? The Bible. And then you go, this works better with younger. The older ones are like, you get that sock away from me. But the little ones love that. We do it every week. And this is like kinder and pre-K. And it's never not funny. It's never not funny. It's like not jokes. They laugh because they're supposed to laugh. They understand what the joke is. So one of the other things I think is very important, it's very instructive, and Jesus teaches us, is the importance of breaking bread together. How many times does Jesus share meals with people, or he's going over to someone's house, or to Zacchaeus' house, or Mary and Martha's house? Breaking bread, sharing a meal is incredibly important. And so we do that. We do that regularly. Food is a way to their hearts. And it's tricky. It's tricky offering food for children now because there are so many allergies and it doesn't make me nervous. I'll be honest with you, it makes me nervous. But they love it so much. So we just are extra careful. And so we do muffins with Mr. Mark, and there's a wonderful baker up in Fort Worth, Stir Crazy Baked Goods, and everybody trusts her because she will do a gluten-free, vegan, everything is nut-free, period. We're a nut-free campus, we just don't even mess with it. Because if I can get away without jamming an EpiPen in someone's thigh for my career, I'll consider that career a success. So we're just a nut-free campus, period. And you got to know what the things are even packaged with nuts. Like when you're making s'mores, the regular size Hershey bars are fine, but the minis and the giants, you can't use them. They're packaging facilities that process peanuts. You have to know that. It's terrifying. But you get those moms. You get the moms with the kids with a peanut allergy. Oh, they'll help you read the label. I've got them all on my phone, and like if I'm going up and down the aisle, can I use this? Send me a picture of the label. So I send her a picture of the label. Yep, that's good. And, so muffins with Mr. Mark. We do that once a year. We do churros with Cha-Cha. Cha-Cha's one of my other choir directors. And we do jelly jam with Juju, and that was a catastrophe because they got our muffin order wrong. And we did muffins with jelly. And because the muffins were wrong, so I just whipped out the pancakes, and you can always do pancakes. We have these plug-in griddles. You can get them at, Walmart or Target, and they cost like $30, and you can do 6 to 8 pancakes at a time. And you start with your gluten-free griddle, you do it first. You do it before you put it, so that's not, so you don't do any contamination. You wrap those in foil, you put them way over there. And then when you're done with the griddles, you clean them thoroughly. But they love it. And so the allergy considerations, it really is an act of hospitality. It's a way of saying, you matter, and we're not gonna, we're not gonna just, oh well, you'll just have to bring your own, or I'm sorry, you don't get to have it. Because food is important, and we need it to live and stuff. So, yes?
When do you do those?
Oh, the
Mothers
pancakes?
with Mark and yeah.
On Sunday morning is kind of like a 0 hour thing, so before their Sunday school, they'll all come up on a Sunday morning, and boy, and we'll do that on Palm Sunday, because we want them to sing on Palm Sunday, and boy, you better believe they will show up for food. And it's special. And sometimes we'll do it where we'll just do something. We have 3 different choirs. We got a pre-KK, we have a first and second, and then a third through fifth. And sometimes we'll do something for just that one group. And they will love it. And it just feels really special for them. Yeah. Okay, let's do another game. Let's see if I got a blank sheet of paper. No, I don't. Let me see this one. This came up when we were doing, we were learning in the garden, because we were going to go sing at a nursing home. And we knew that song would work really well. And we came up to a part where there was Mr. Mark, what are those things that look like eyes over the music? Oh, those are fermatas. Well, what's a fermata? Well, let me tell you. And so we explored fermata, but we didn't just teach it, we played a game. This is called the fermata game. So let's do I Come to the Garden Alone. Did we do the first verse, If I Come to the Garden Alone, reasonably well? Well, let's start the refrain. The chromatic version. So every time I hold up the fermata, you hold on to whatever I'm holding on to, right? Here we go.
And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own.
And then that's my opportunity to tell them, you know what the fermata means? It means watch the conductor. You know what allegro means? Watch the conductor. You know what a tempo means? Watch the conductor. That's exactly right. Speaking of watching the conductor, this is another brain break. This is one that you do when you've got 5 minutes left in class and you really don't have time to tackle a new song. You've done everything you have to do. It's great, and it's going to go from great to boring really fast. So we play a game called Find the Conductor. So here's how it works. I'm going to pick someone who's going to be it. That person is going to go out in the hall. And because you're grown-ups, you can do it. So this was in my classroom. You have to go put your nose in the corner because I don't want kids walking around the hall. Or downtown church, and we just can't. And then what I'll do is I'll pick one person to be the conductor. The conductor's job is to play any instrument they want, violin, and whatever the conductor plays, everyone else has to play. And then the conductor switches to whatever this is. Maybe this is a clarinet, and we all play clarinet. Trombone, we all play trombone. Drums, we all play drums. And so the conductor needs to switch as many times as possible, and then I'll bring in it, and it has to try to figure out which one of us is the conductor. Now the conductor needs to be kind of sly on when they switch instruments, and the rest of us need to be kind of sly at not staring directly at the conductor. Does that make sense? Who wants to do this? We go out in the hall. Oh man, if you were kids, you'd all want this. All right? We all play whatever you play, and then whenever you switch, we all switch. Okay, you can come back in. You have to guess which one of us. You get 3 guesses.
I'm going to say it would name the blue shirt and white pants.
They love that game. They want to play it all the time. So you got to make time at the end of multiple rehearsals to do that. You don't have enough time for everybody playing one rehearsal. But that's fine. Getting kids quiet, it's just really hard. It's really hard. There's a reason for that. It's not just because they're being toots. Okay? That's just part of it. Yeah, the other part, have you ever been out with a bunch of percussionists? Right? And you're out eating, and then like you drop something on the floor and you pick it up and you look down and every percussionist is tapping their feet. So what do we have? We have a bunch of people who are using their voices, right? Then when we stop in the rehearsal, what do they want to do? They want to keep using their voices. They like to use their singers. That's what they do, is they use their voices. So, just the echo clapping, Did you notice how each one of those got softer, and each one uses a softer part? So that's what you're doing. You're not just getting their attention, you're drawing them in. That's what you have to do. And then what you've got, you keep them there, and don't you dare get loud. Don't you dare say, okay, now let's turn to so-and-so. No. Keep it right there. Because it's a beautiful thing. A room full of kids who are being soft and gentle, you just ride that as long as possible. Another one is simply, if they're talking, just go, practice getting that good, nice ooh with a round in the back. They like that. Whenever I'm with a group of youth choir kids and we're on tour somewhere and we're in a food court and I'm trying to get everybody's attention, we do that. Of course, they're youth choirs, they love to show off that they need everyone in the place to know they're a choir. And so they start harmonizing. And then my favorite one is, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. So I'll go and I'll do performances in elementary schools for 600 kids and whatever, and the principal's like, I'll get them quiet. I'm like, I got it. And they're looking at me like, yeah, I got it. And you do that, and then by the sixth one, you can clap 6 times. And the people in the very back of the auditorium they're right there with you. Hi, my name is Mr. Mark. I am so happy that we're here together again. Let's have some fun. The principal's like, I'm bringing him back. So a couple of moments of light. We had a kid, I'm going to leave the names out as much as I possibly can, but had a kid who was having a little bit of trouble in rehearsal. We have some steps kind of like these, but they're carpeted, the kids just sit down on. We got the yellow step, the red step, and the purple step. And Joe was up on the purple step. Well, Joe's in kindergarten. Everybody knows kindergarten's got to be on the front step, and that's da-da-da-da. But Joe was all the way up there, so of course you know, kindergarten first graders, you're all telling them about it. And whenever we got some kid who's kind of doing their own thing, we have that, okay, what do we do? We let everybody in the space see that this kid's owning us, right? What's going to happen with our discipline? How are we ever going to get the react? How are we going to control everybody? There he was. I'm like, okay, this is going to be tough. Joe, you know you're supposed to be on the front row. And right then, I was about to go into, bull in a china shop, Mr. Mark, and get real gruff, and give him the serious adult voice, and show everyone who the boss was. And then a little voice on my shoulder, some said maybe with God, probably Mr. Rogers, said, no, Mark, you don't know what's going on. I said, Joe, what's going on? Why? I'm mad. I'm like, okay. Why don't you come over here and you can whisper to Mr. Mark why you're mad. Stomp down the steps, comes over. I said, you're not telling me, just me. Why are you mad? Well, I have my friend that's in another class and I get to see him and it's just, the tears just started coming out. And I said, Joe, you're not mad, you're sad. And you know what? It's okay for boys to be sad. Boys need to hear that. Don't need to hear that. I said, it's okay for you to be sad. Come here. I'm so glad that you told me about that, and I'm sorry you're feeling sad. And I wonder, is there anybody in this room that can be a friend for him right now? Because it really looks like Joe needs a friend. Of course, Hunter You know, the golden retriever of the class. And so he makes the space, and so the two just sit together, and within 5 minutes, I'm having to bust the two of them up because they're just yucking it up, having a great time. But it was one of the best moments of my entire teaching career, because I'm like, I just about came unglued at that kid, but then I'm like, don't, ask first. Ask first, and I forget to do that sometimes because I've got my agenda. I've got things I have to get done. But mine isn't the only agenda in that room. They have their agenda. God certainly has an agenda. Right? I need to make sure I'm in alignment with God's agenda. I'll give you another example of that. We just had Vacation Bible School. And aside from all the kids we have a whole army of youth volunteers. One of our youth volunteers is a youth with special needs, who was a child with special needs in our program. In children's ministry, we pair everyone with a special buddies program. These are mainly TCU nursing students and education majors, and it's a chance to make a little bit of money on a Sunday morning. And their job is to be side by side with each of our children with special needs to help them have a positive Sunday morning experience. And so it gets harder when they get into youth. They get bigger, they're stronger. It's hard. You cannot manhandle a youth who is 6'2" and is autistic and has his own idea of what he wants to do. So you really have to think on your feet. Clear directions really help. Schedules really help. But I was getting a couple of complaints because he'd had a bad dream. And in his dream, he had imagined shooting. And so that's all he was talking about. Well, I was getting, what's inappropriate? You're not supposed to talk about it. That's inappropriate to talk about it. And I'm like, okay, all right, I hear you. You're right. So I was like, should I call the mom? Should we cut? I'm like, no, don't do that yet. See if you can find a way. And this kid's nuts about encyclopedias. And animal encyclopedias, dinosaur encyclopedias, you name it. And so we had a bunch of encyclopedias ready whenever he was having a hard time. And so he came in the next day, and we had this in an envelope in case he started talking about guns and shooting again, which he didn't. The whole rest of the week he didn't, so it was fine. I didn't need to move him out in the first place, but he was a little curious about why his special buddy was carrying around a special envelope for him just in case. And so I said, all right, I'll tell you on Friday. So on Friday, we never needed it. He came, it was time to go, and he opened it, and it was dear name. And it was a blank book. And I said, I'm sorry you had a bad dream. And, I have bad dreams sometimes too. Those really can really affect you the next day, especially when you have a big imagination like you do. And so you know what it's like to have a bad dream and have it really affect your moods. What I don't want you to do. Because I have those dreams too, and I struggle with it. And we've got lots of little ones here who sometimes have bad dreams. And they wake up and they have a hard time with that. So I want you to do something for me. I want you to make a good dream encyclopedia. And I want you to think about what's something good that a child could think about right before they go to bed that might help them have a good dream. Draw a picture of that thing. And on the next page, draw a picture of that child doing something that day because they had a good dream. So he opened it up on Friday. He was thrilled. I mean, that thing's probably half full by now. There's one of those times where it's like, okay, stop. Ask why. Why is this kid doing that? Don't just assume they're trying to be bad. Don't just assume, well, they're off their meds, or they're just a toot, or their parents don't have discipline anymore. All of those things may be true. And they're in your room right now, and they need you alone. So that's something to try. Miss Sandy. Miss Sandy was our preschool music teacher. We have a preschool that's part of our church. Miss Sandy was a dear friend of mine. I say was because she died a year and a half ago. She died in the middle of the year. And so we had a bunch of 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and 4-year-olds who were going to have to be told that their music teacher had died. Of course, you got to do that. Because, as Mr. Rogers would say, anything mentionable is manageable. So it's up to me to find a way to manage it. So I had to do a lot of research. Talked to my good friend Leanne Hadley, who was I mentioned her, I think, yesterday. Wrote a wonderful book called Touching Heaven. She was a chaplain at a children's hospital, and the book Touching Heaven devotes a different chapter to a terminally ill child. You cannot read the book in one sitting. It'll destroy you. But it's beautiful. And so I called her up. I said, Leanne, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And she said, just early, especially 2-year-olds, they have no concept of what death means. They don't know, they don't understand that it's permanent. And they're going to ask, well, so when is she coming back? So the most important things to do are, don't use euphemisms. She passed away. She went to sleep. God seemed another angel in heaven. These are all very confusing things for anybody, but particularly children. They need concrete language. She died. Her body doesn't work anymore, but her love is still here. We love her, and we know she loves us. But her body stopped working, and they will bury her body in the ground, and she will be in heaven. And we still love her very much, don't we? So that's what we did with the kids. And we blew bubbles, which is kind of a metaphorical way of, you can see the bubble. There's air's around us, we can't see it, but we know it's there. And the bubble pops, and where's the air? It's all around us. And the kids know that intuitively. So where's Miss Sandy's not with us anymore? Where's Miss Sandy's love? It's all around. And then we had a picture of her, we put it on the piano, and then we all held hands and we sang, Jesus loves me. And most of the kids, the parents were appreciative that you just never know when you're going to have to work through something like that. So that's part of our job too, isn't it? We're ministers. That's our main job. We're not music teachers, we're not directors, we're ministers. In the Methodist tradition, I'm a Methodist, that's what they say. There are those who wear the robes and the stoles, and they're ordained clergy, but all of us are ministers when we reach out to care for other people. All right, getting back to a couple of light moments, some other things that we can do are musical extremes. These are really fun things to kind of change the pace, keep things fun, sing a fast piece super slow, in super slow-mo, particularly the piece they're working on, and have them kind of walk like they're walking in, on the moon. Sing a slow piece fast. Sing it faster. Sing it as fast as you can. Maybe it's a piece that you're working on that is fast. Sing it even faster. Start slow and sing it faster. Then sing it way faster than you're ever going to need to sing it. And then sing it regular tempo again, and it will be there. And they love it, and you're making a game out of it. Or you can just even have it like an old remote control from an old VCR that no one uses anymore. And I'm going to press fast forward, and they have to sing it faster. Pause. Now let's sing in slow motion. Or singing a joyous piece with sad faces. Instead of just saying, you just don't look like you're happy at all, which is just, that never makes anyone smile more. It makes them feel more picked on. If you're trying to be joyous, don't critique them. Say, okay, here's what I want you to do. So let's say you're doing Joy to the World. Sing it with the saddest face as you can. Joy to the world. You're smiling. The Lord. It's too happy. And of course now they start to giggle because it's infectious because they're not supposed to smile. And now, okay, sing it with big happy, and then it comes. Right? But don't just say, oh, you don't look happy. Why do you look so sad? Has that ever worked on anyone really? It makes them pretend to be happy so you'll get off their case. Right? So repertoire choices. Musical traditions. This kind of gets into both. So it's important to have traditions. Children love traditions. You think adults love traditions? Youth, teenagers crave traditions. You want to see a bunch of grumpy teenagers. Take away something that's a cherished tradition. So the children's choir, we always do Silent Night with sign language on Christmas Eve. That's a tradition we've had forever. Baby celebration. The second Sunday in February is Baby Celebration Sunday. And every baby that's been born in the past year, we have them all at the front, and the moms and special friends and the children's choirs all sing What a Wonderful World. And it's just perfect because it's got that laugh. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And it's such a great moment. And then when you have a tradition like that, you don't have to spend hours and hours rehearsing it. You just have to bring in the next group a little bit. You run it a couple times, it's ready to go. And then, of course, on Mother's Day, you'll see this tomorrow in a reading session, we always do the tree song, Ken Needham's tree song, with the dads and special friends, because not everybody's got a dad, and everybody's got a mom. But we like to have those treats, so you bring a grandma, bring a grandpa, we don't care what gender, it doesn't matter. Just having a grown-up who loves you and is with you, being there, so that there's that multi-generational feel. We'll have moms, but there's not a hard, fast rule. We got families with 2 moms, we got families with 2 dads. It's all good, man. Just get up there and sing. You're praising God, that's all that matters. And it just creates these great traditions. And they love those traditions, and it's something to really cling to, and that creates those light moments, but also those moments of life, those things that people look forward to so much. Repertoire choices, I try to keep it balanced. Sometimes I like a story-driven, like so those of you that were in the reading session we just did, they were like Joshua at the Battle of Jericho is a story, Noah's Ark is a story, Moses is a story, but then sometimes it's more concept-driven, like I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, which is based on the epistle, or doing what's right isn't always easy, but it's always right. So mix it up so they're getting some good Bible, and then the message, like the why behind it. Up-tempo and lyrical, more up-tempo than you think. Lyrical sounds pretty, it's great for teaching them to sing, but I would do a 2-to-1 up-tempo to lyrical rate. That's just my personal, that's not some scientifically proven formula. It's just what I've seen that works, tends to work better. And don't assume that children don't like to sing beautiful lyrical pieces because they like that too, but you need to have the right balance. Challenging and easily accessible. Have a couple of pieces that you can sing, and in the first rehearsal they're ready to go. And then that's the piece you do at the end of every other rehearsal, because that's the carrot, the one that they know and they love. And then some challenging things, because when you challenge them, it's another way of saying, I believe in you, I trust you, and I love you, and I think you can do this. And but not, challenging for them. Don't just, whatever your dream piece is, it's once again, it's not about our agenda. I've always wanted to do such and such. And then mix up the traditional and the new. You were asking about that before, about traditional. Mix it up. Do some traditional, do some new. When I say traditional, I mean not just Euro-American centrist tradition. Do some East African traditional music, some Latin American traditional music, and vary it up. Peruvian's different from northern Mexico, from southern Mexico, from Yucatan. I mean, it's different. So dive into it. Holly Holly, which is a wonderful resource, the Michael Hahn resource with Chorus Guild, it's just a treasure trove of little songs from all over the world that are easy to do and so much fun. I got another gift. We're working on a choral that I meant to be in this previous reading session we did, because it just came out. It's called Prepare You the Way. It's an Advent piece. A voice in the distance, a voice in the distance, a song in the night, a song in the night. A whisper of wonder, a whisper of wonder, as angels take flight, as angels take flight. So it's kind of a nice little back and forth. And so we did that for, I think, the first Sunday in Advent, because it was not the Sunday right after Thanksgiving, so it worked out pretty well. And so I got an email from a parent who, this is what I was trying to pull up earlier. Blank had questions this evening about why she makes mistakes and gets in trouble, and these things that come from a block in her heart. It was very her and very sweet and very emotionally charged. Anyway, we talked and she calmed down and we said our goodnights. I got downstairs and turned on the monitor. This is what I heard. Know that you make a huge difference in these kids and their parents' lives. Oh, can you hear it? Both parts. That's going to be my ringtone. First of all, I love that family. They're a dear family. And the fact that they recorded that and then thought to send that to me is just a gift. I'm going to cherish that for the rest of my life. It's just so dear. And never doubt. You may not always see it. And I know people say that, right? But that's proof of it. That the things that we do matter. they carry, that we're giving them heart songs. We're giving them things that are going to last them their whole lives. We're giving them messages that are going to be in here and in here for the rest of your lives. Don't you doubt for 1 second how important you are to that, to where you are, to the families in your life, the families that bring their little ones to you. They're depending on you. They may not always say it. They may not always say it with their actions when they're taking their kids to soccer practice, right? They do. There's no sport that, and I've played all the sports that's going to do that. And that's going to give. That's something she's going to carry with her the rest of her life. And then what we close our rehearsals. You know, I was at Grace Schwanda. I got to be in a workshop with her. She's wonderful, and she's up in Michigan, and she patterns her rehearsals after the fourfold pattern of worship, where there's the we proclaim, or no, we gather, then we proclaim, then we respond, and then we're sent forth. And so at the end of rehearsals, she has this, and so I try to do that too in kind of our own way. So one of the things that we can do is a heartbeat rhythm. Actually, a little simple, a little heartbeat rhythm. And sometimes what we'll do is we'll all get on the floor and we'll sit in a circle. And I'll invite children to kind of extemporaneously if they just want to say a prayer, or if they just want to say it for so-and-so, for Nana, and for my puppy. It's my birthday tomorrow. I lost a tooth. And then we stop and we sing that. It's simple. We don't have to have any fancy churchy words. It's a way to use music and rhythm in their prayer, and they're praying down here. Another one is if someone wants to say something, like if they're with the concerns, more with those, well, my parents are getting divorced, right? They're the big D's of childhood. There's death, dark, divorce, and diagnosis. Those are I think of the 4 big D's that we all stress over those. But kids in particular, death, divorce, diagnosis, and dark. Those are just, and so and moving is another one. Moving stresses a lot of us. It's insanely stressful to young people who have to leave all their friends. And so then if someone wants to say, well, da 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 da, and then we all respond, how can I keep from singing? Or if they, and then we do another one, let's have our joys. And if they, I'm 7 years old, and we all go, hallelujah. So it's kind of a musical version of doing, instead of doing the Lord in your mercy, hear our prayer, or for these your many gifts, we give you thanks. It's kind of a musical version of that. So those are just some examples of some light moments and some moments of light. Anybody have any questions or thoughts? I'll say it one more time. Don't doubt. Go ahead.
Oh, well, we do the rhythm response, but just with a vocal that kind of thing.
Yeah, that works.
And it's
That's
nice
right.
and
That's
soothing.
right. Yeah. Don't doubt for 1 second the difference you make. You are a moment of light in the life of a child and absolutely their family. You are valued and you are loved. Thank you for spending your hour with me.